Hello, my name is Anjani, and today we're talking about intuition and programming and how to know the difference. So, when you have a real intuitive hit, there is nothing in your body, in your mind, that makes you feel like crap or that gives you an urgency or a fear or some loud, like, we gotta, it won't be like that. Intuition is very subtle. I was going to use the word quiet, but sometimes it's not quiet. Sometimes it'll be through, something loud happening in the moment, but the feeling is very subtle and loving and not fear based. Programming, when you get an urge to do something based off of your programs, things that you just have in you without your awareness of them even being there. This will strike up some conversation from the ego. You'll feel a little bit of fear involved. You'll be a little bit more agitated. So let's have an example now. Say that you have a choice to make. And I'm doing right now the intimacy workbook and the online course. So, talking about love and intimacy and relationships and sexuality. And so, let's use something from that material of life. So, say that you are attracted to somebody, you meet somebody, and you're trying to decide, is this person somebody that I would want to connect with? Your body, this is actually the hardest one because of, especially if you haven't done the work of realizing your desires and understanding your attractions. Very often we go off of instincts and our karmic patterning, our bodies, deep programming. So this is the hardest example, but I'm going to go ahead and go for it anyway. Probably why it's a good example to use. So if there is this sort of loud, fear-based response happening in either direction, like, go for it, yes, this is, and that might happen from your usual reactions of what happens when you meet somebody that you want to connect with. It could be that, or it could also be in the other direction where it's like, no, 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 no. Like if you're somebody who avoids intimacy and avoids connection, it could be like, no, 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 don't do it, don't do it. In both of those responses, there's a loud talking kind of thing happening where your programs and your stories will start to play in your head, like explaining the reasons why you should or shouldn't connect with that person. That's programming. That's what happens when it's deep programming or karmic patterning. It's going to be more talkative and explaining and proving a point. When it's the voice of your intuition, there might be more imagery with it. There might be more of just a vibe that you feel, more just the vibration, without the conversation, without the story going. It's just, I want to use the word subtle, but sometimes the way I perceive energy, because I perceive energy so strongly, that it's not subtle. It's like very elaborate in the form of its subtlety, meaning that there's not a lot of fear, discussion, stories. None of those things exist in the intuition. It's just something, in me, it's just an imagery that arises. Sometimes it's just a one word thing that comes up. Sometimes it'll be a memory of an image that I saw before. So it's like symbolic that relates to more information, like in the Yoga Sutras. Each sutra holds the information through an imprint that, you open up the sutra and it has all this other meaning. Sometimes intuition for me comes up in that way, where it's stimulates from a memory of a thing that I've seen or known. That one thing pops up, and then there's more information there without the part of me that tells stories, because we all have that part, and that part that talks and convinces you and tries to get you to do things or not do things is very valid. And what I'm talking about now is the ego, who has a job of keeping you safe and protected. And I bow to that part in me, and I bow to that part in you, and I also know that this part doesn't get to make all the choices. It's there to fulfill a purpose and a role, but I am making more choices from the intuitive part. Not saying to ignore the ego's voice, because wherever you are in your life, that voice has its place and its role also. So this is basically how to know the difference between programming and intuition. I hope I've discussed and described it enough so that in your next opportunity, even if it is, should I go to the store now? Okay, well, just ask the question. So what I like to do is actually imagine that my spine is a straw, not an actual straw, but a hollow tube. And I connect with the energy of above and connect with the energy below. And when I inhale, I just breathe energy into my body. And on my exhales, just let my body soften and let that energy sort of find a place in me. And then from here, this is where I ask my questions. So I'm here and there's not much conversation or storyline going on. It's just energy. Do I want, I don't ask, do I want to or should I? It's like I'll somehow see that going to the store. And if it's yes, it's like it pulls, I feel a pull. If it's no, I'll feel a pull. If I start hearing like, you know what I mean? Like, this is where the program comes in. And the programming is going to keep us stuck in a pattern. It's going to keep us stuck in what the Buddhists call the wheel of samsara, which is just habituated patterns. I call this karmic patterning, karmic conditioning. It's what our physical body is made up of, from DNA, from our lineage line, our roots and our ancestors, and from what we have been programmed to believe and what we do most of the time, that condition that we have, the conditioning. So we don't want to have our lives run by this. We want to honor and give thanks for those things, and also be able to connect with information technology, this other realm of information, and somewhere in our physical body be able to make a choice. So I hope this video helps you to connect with your own intuition and understand why that's important. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them. I look forward to connecting with you soon.